So what is next for Boeing, and how does this all impact the stock, which is down 35% this year? Joining us now, Jefferies aerospace and defense analyst Sheila Kahyaoglu. Sheila, great to have you with us. I'm first of all curious what you thought of what happened with the whistleblower testimony today on Capitol Hill, and whether or not that adds to sort of this case that Senator Blumenthal is putting forth, that there is a culture and repeated pattern of just quality issues.
I mean, clearly, Boeing is struggling, right? The share price tells you Boeing is struggling. There's a CEO change in place. There's a search for a CEO. There's a board overhaul. So there's a lot of things going on at Boeing that reflect the fact of the January 5th incident, essentially with Alaska Airlines and the safety culture, that when we go back to the 2018-19 and the two crashes that led to that 2.5 settlement, as you mentioned. So clearly a lot going on at Boeing. I think the testimony today from the different panels, it's hard to put it in context. An employee working on the 787 program, later moved to the 777 program, says there's issues on the 787 as well, in addition to the 737 MAX. Stepping back, the 787 has not had any major incidents. It has had a relatively decent safety culture. And just let's bear in mind, Boeing is producing the 787 at a current rate of 5 a month. That's very different than the pressure to up volume from 20 a month to 40 a month to 50 a month on the 737. So there's a lot less volume pressure, which could stem, quick fixes on something like the 737 MAX.
So in terms of the violation of the deferred prosecution agreement reached with the DOJ, Sheila, is that on your bingo card? I mean, does that factor in at all to your outlook for Boeing?
Everything is on the bingo card when it comes to Boeing. There's always something new. Clearly, that wouldn't be positive. If they violated it just within the 3 years, and they do have a safety system in place. It's just apparently too cumbersome for people to document it. But so they do have one in place. I think that would just add to the slew of issues. But regardless, I think looking forward, and that's what we have to do, is we're going to have a new CEO come in. The timing of that is unknown. I think the first thing that new CEO is going to do is take out that $10 billion free cash flow target, throw it out the door for 25, 26, and say we're going to slow production until we hit certain safety measures and maybe fixes into the facilities. I mean, yes, Boeing touches a lot of suppliers. Yes, each plane has 1 million parts. But at the end of the day, these are two big factories, one in Renton and one in Charleston, that have to be managed. And of course, Spirit Aerospace Systems, if they decide to take that in-house, which is currently in talks with Boeing to be taken out.
Just curious, if it is found to have violated that deferred prosecution agreement, what do you think that means for the stock? And then the next step would be, if they're found criminally liable, I mean, I don't know what fines there are. I don't know if it involves, another agreement at that point. The management will be involved. Prior management will be involved. How do you sort of play that out?
I think it's hard to play it out in terms of investor sentiment and the share price performance. Clearly, another ding and a fine would be very negative for the stock, in that you would have, additional debt in place, and their debt balance is already in the $45 billion range. So that wouldn't be positive from that perspective. But, Dave Calhoun is leaving, not because of anything he's done. The former management no longer is at Boeing, right? And I think what we have to take back, and Department of Justice investigations do take a long time. Some companies in our coverage have had a decade of DOJ investigations, and who this is tied to on a criminal basis is very hard to lead it up to top management. And we've seen plenty of turnover on the program manager lines, whether it's the 737 MAX or the 87. So I think, as Senator Blumenthal said, to pin it to somebody is just going too far ahead. And we do see these criminal investigations and these DOJ investigations last close to a decade sometimes.